Today I fucked up by slapping the beef in front of my 6-yo. This happened last night. Let me set the scene. Yesterday, my wife, 36, and daughter, 13, tested positive for COVID and are banished to one or both of their bedrooms. My oldest son, 18, never leaves his room because video games equals life, but has also been feeling pretty shitty despite a negative test result, though he has already had COVID once. This leaves my youngest son, 6, and me, 35 male, being the only ones in the house to feel fine, test negative, and have never contracted the virus and thusly have free reign of the rest of the house. As any decent father, husband would do, I sent them all a group text explaining that if this was a zombie virus, they would all be dead and 6-yo and I would be our family's sole survivors and have to find a way to carry on without them. They laughed, called me an asshole and asked when dinner would be done, and so I begin preparing the meal. The scene is set. I love corned beef. Not just for St. Patrick's Day, but all year. My wife does not love corned beef. She does not like it or even tolerate it. Mostly. 2 nights ago I spent several hours preparing a corned beef because we had planned to make corned beef hash for dinner last night. My wife will only eat corned beef if it's my homemade corned beef hash. Regardless of everyone's sick status, I continued to prepare corned beef hash for dinner. 6-yo is in the kitchen with me as I gather the onion, garlic, butter, potatoes, etc. He is quite helpful and especially loves helping in the kitchen. As we finish up our dicing and prep work, I go to the fridge and grab the corned beef that was prepared the night before, boiled twice, slow roasted at low temp, tender, delicious, wrapped in foil. Place it on the counter and ask 6-yo if he was excited for dinner. He asks, "What are we having again?" Forgetting what it's called. To which I reply excitedly, "Corned beef hash," and smack the wrapped meat with my hand. I did not smack this chunk of protein with my dominant hand, but as luck would have it, I did smack it with the hand that has my Fitbit secured around the wrist. At the exact moment I assaulted the roast, my Fitbit begins violently vibrating to alert me that I have reached my step goal for the day. I remark, "Cool. Apparently that got me my final steps for the day." 6-yo asks, "What did? Slapping the beef?" I suppress a chuckle and reply with a simple, yes, thinking that would be the end of it. Nope. Wrong. 6-yo proceeds to tell me I need to slap the beef every day to make sure I meet my step goal. Then he tells me that he wants a Fitbit so he can slap the beef and meet his step goals. After this he runs at a full sprint down the back hall towards, but not into, my room, currently housing my wife and daughter, and tells the 2 of them that Dad got his step count by slapping the beef and he's going to get a Fitbit so he can slap the beef, and both of us are going to slap the beef every day to make sure that we get our steps in and meet our goals. I head down the hall towards him. I hear my wife and daughter laughing hysterically. I kneel down, look him in the eye and tell him in as normal of a tone as I can manage, "That's a secret men have kept from women for thousands of years. You're not supposed to tell them that. It's for men only." And I wink. His face lights up. He loves secrets. Who doesn't? He proceeds to tell his mom and sister to forget what they heard. He tells them that they know nothing. Lastly, he informs them that we will slap the beef when they aren't around. Then I took off my Fitbit and made a delicious meal. Too long did not read. Smacked a piece of meat in front of my son, which unintentionally earned my step goal on my Fitbit. Son proceeded to tell his mom and sister that he and I were going to slap the beef every day to make sure we reach our Fitbit goals. Tomorrow at school, Dad and I like to slap our beef together, but he says it's our secret that we shouldn't tell Mom. That is so funny. I could totally see that happening with my kids. That's really cute. God, I thought it was a story about him walking in on you. That's one of my worst fears. Reading this makes me remember I have no family. Adorable. Here's a nice corned beef recipe though. Basically it's corned beef, chopped tomatoes and sweet corn and cooked in a frying pan so the corned beef mushes and it's all mixed and delicious. Serve it on top of rice. It sounds, or at least to me it sounded weird, but when I tried it's so good and now a favorite with my partner and kids. I've had various smartwatches, pedometers, some smarter than others. One of them counted the least muscle twitch as a step. I may or may not have gotten my last 80 steps one afternoon by slapping my husband's beef. Insert Shia LaBeouf clapping gif. But how can he slap? Today I fucked up by not complaining to my landlord about my neighbor. Warning. Traumatic. Literally still happening today. I live in a 200-year-old house that has been split up into 4 units. It's decently kept, the rent is low, but I can hear pretty much everything that happens with the upstairs neighbor. He's in his 50s, lives alone, and usually watches TV semi-loudly from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. Well, about 2 weeks ago he stopped turning the TV off at night. While this drove me a bit crazy, I'm not the type to confront or complain, so I just do my best to tune it out and sleep. Yesterday, I noticed a small puddle on my kitchen floor, and could see evidence of a leak on the ceiling above it. I called my landlord, who came by this morning to inspect the situation. She couldn't get into the unit upstairs, but after multiple knocks unlocked the door and entered the apartment. She found my neighbor long dead and rotting on the couch. It became immediately obvious that the puddle on my kitchen floor was actually the dripping human effluence from my neighbor's corpse. The coroner's office is sending over a hazmat team to scrape the body off of the couch, and I managed to stop vomiting long enough to write this post. I'm trying to forget that I wiped my counters with the same rag I used to wipe the gunk off the floor. Too long did not read. I may have washed my dishes with human remains. I'm seeking to end my lease early, because I am distraught. Essay. Edit. My landlord is offering to transfer my lease and security deposit over to a similar-sized apartment on April 1st. I don't have much to move, but I'm looking forward to moving it. Did someone finally turn the TV off? WTF, holy shit dude, that's awful. Yikes, used to do biohazard removal and my first job was very similar to this. Lady was found dead in her apartment after 2 weeks. Coroner came in, took the body out, we got left with the mess. Never seen so many maggots and coffin flies in my life. Oh, I am so sorry. Something similar happened in my apartment building. Guy upstairs, lived alone, kept to himself. Left for work before the sun came up and his TV was left on. Went on for a few days and came home to the coroner in our apartment building. Poor guy. That sucks and all, but like, you use the same rag to wipe your floors that you do to wipe your counters? That is also gross. And here I am, a 50-year-old who lives alone. Nice. Damn dude. That's tough. I just found out from a family friend that their neighbor died 2 months ago and they just found out. Turns out his mother, who has dementia, was still wiping him up. He was disabled every so often and didn't notice he was drop dead Fred the whole time. Jesus fuck, that's grim. Today I fucked up by sending pictures to the wrong number. Just for context, my husband and I have been trying for a baby, and that makes sex kind of boring or stressful. My phone recently got replaced by a warranty. I hadn't merged his SIM account and Google account contact entries. So his Google account picture was not on the text. Today I thought it would be nice to send him sexy messages and pictures for making last night particularly fantastic in an unexpected way. He has been bored and annoyed with work, and I have been feeling horrible. I sent a few messages over a couple of hours after he left for work. I started with sexy texts complimenting on his performance last night, and then I felt really sexy. I embraced that to take some sexy pics, specific to his voyeur-style kinks for porn. I wasn't naked, but I sent a few pics of my toy and my face. Making it staged to seem like I was unaware of the camera, but it mostly came as playful. I was super proud of myself. I felt very good. I sent them to my husband, who I had been texting. After I sent the pics, I got a message from his sister that said, "Wrong number." Then I went to see what that was about. Like, did she send me a message by accident? No. I sent dirty pictures to her. I sent very graphic texts to her. I hadn't texted my husband at all today. I am mortified. I might just stop existing. Too long did not read. I sent dirty pictures and texts to my sister-in-law instead of my husband. I am likely to just die from the mortification. Then I downed an entire bottle of wine, because I am emotionally dead. Husband, sister, bad, but could have been so much worse. Phil, husband's brother, boss at work, church minister, some random anti-porn campaigner, your stalker. So it was only after you sent the pictures after a day of texting her that your husband's sister decided that it was the time to make the big reveal? Does it suck? Sure. Is she going to let you forget about it? Maybe, maybe not. Does she now know that her brother is happy and content and loved by his wife? Yep. She will probably be weird for a few hours, but chances are, she's gonna act like she didn't see shit and life will continue because she's a bro to her bro. Last Friday, I was on the phone with my boyfriend. He's a realtor. The conversation was getting a little sexy and he asked for nudes. So I sent him my boobs. He replied with a dick pic. Except I didn't get it, he sent it to a realtor that was making an offer on one of his listings. Long story short, he got let go from his firm on Monday. Respond back with, no it wasn't. That'll guarantee she never mentions it again. Ever. If she ever brings it up, just be honest with her like you were with Reddit. Tell her you and her brother were trying for a baby and you wanted to help keep his mojo going so it would feel intimate and not like a means to an end. If she's a sensible person, that'll be the end of it. Not sure what to say if she asks how you got the numbers wrong. But my guess is the two of them were on a family plan at some point in the past and the digits are one off or something. Hopefully that's an easy one to explain. Either way, try not to be embarrassed. What you did came from a place of love for your husband. And lastly, good luck with the conception. I'm sure being a woman who's surely been in a relationship before, she'll understand. That said, let's see what you sent and we can all tell you if it's really that bad lol. Don't worry. Just take a good nap and when you wake up everything will be the same. I can see some awkward conversations with Sil and social events though. Today I fucked up by laughing after a guy got his arm ripped off at work. Gore warning. Well, this is gonna be a rough one. I'm still reeling from shock of this whole ordeal. I work in a factory with a large number of large machines and such, and on any one day we have numerous accidents, not due to equipment failure but more so the lack of attention put to the actual jobs themselves, so it's not unusual to see someone's hand ripped and bloody from accident by running it through the metal planer. But anyways, there's probably 12 guys on the night shift crew, which is the first mistake here. That number is drastically low. It's an 8K SQFT factory and 12 guys including myself run it all and train new hires. Key detail. Well, tonight of all night we have 3 guys call out and I have to train a new hire. Only having been there a month myself, another fuck up. So we're horrendously understaffed for a system that runs incredibly fast, and on top of all that I have probably one of the most unaware and idiotic people I have ever met. When I tell you this guy would have probably eaten rock if I told him they tasted good, he would have. We get maybe an hour into the shift as I'm training him, and I work with a very large system of presses, metal presses with belts that run them. The belts are between 2,100 and 3,000 revolutions per minute. So as we work he's helping me. I'm giving this guy the simplest tasks possible as to avoid an accident, fucking lol. Then one of the supers comes in finally to give me a rundown, and in the 30 or so seconds we were talking this new hire walks over to the belts and I believe he tried to grab a piece of cloth or something behind it, failing to realize that the machine is running, and grabs this cloth. As he's pulling it out the cloth catches on the belt and rips his arm off, like clean tear right about mid-bicep. I immediately rip me belt off and wrap it as tight as I can around this dude's arm to stop him from bleeding out. We already wear gloves to do our jobs, so I wasn't worried about disease and such. I call code over the radios and everyone runs over. Now here's where the really fucked up part happens. All this guy could think about was gas prices. I'm gonna have to stop working and gas prices are gonna kill me. Well, this supervisor that I was talking to comes over, and he kicks the dude's now severed arm, and says, well, gas is really costing people an arm and a leg now, and at this point I'm so fucking nervous I just burst out laughing. I don't know what came over me but I just started hysterically laughing. So I'm sitting there holding this dude's arm, belt around it and my feet on either side of the belt pushing to get as much force on that artery as possible. Laughing like a psycho and lo and behold the plant manager comes around. Absolutely pissed because he only heard me laughing and walks around to that fucking scene. So I'm probably fucked. They sent everyone home on a paid day off. I'm in administrative leave until further notice. The guy made it to the hospital in okay condition all thing considered I was told. Too long did not read. My boss made a joke after a guy got his arm ripped off and I laughed out of anxiety as the plant manager walked in on the whole mess. Edit. To those of you who are saying, how does this keep happening? It's America. It happens daily. Especially if OSHA investigations aren't kept up. People get paid off, and unless someone dies it doesn't get reported, and most accidents don't even get hospital visits if that says anything. Edit 2. I will be filing a report with OSHA, and those saying I need to get out, although I don't like most of the guys I work with, I'll stay for 2 reasons. I have a fairly safe job, and if more shit like this happens while the report goes they're gonna need someone to play medic, no? Dude, you laughed out of shock, not anxiety. If accidents are the norm as you describe it, report it to OSHA, or any applicable safety overseer, and GTFO. Seek therapy, you might have some PTSD from this. He kicked the severed arm and cracked a joke? Holy hell. What the fuck is wrong with your country? Weekly amputations shouldn't fucking happen. Gallows humor is also used a lot in the blues and twos and military communities. Shock makes people behave in sometimes strange and out-of-context ways. Don't feel too bad as you tried your best keep him safe and saved his life nonetheless, mate. Your company owners, however, deserve to be put into one of those metal presses you have to make capitalist slop for the rats. I sincerely hope you write down your recount of what happened and send it to the plant manager ASAP. Also point out that your reaction, while seemingly inappropriate, was due to shock. You just witnessed a man having his arm ripped off. It's like laughing at a funeral. The brain is processing something unfathomable and you cannot be held accountable for your reaction to extreme stress. I'm disgusted by your supervisor for kicking a human being's body part, one that has just been literally torn from his body. What a piece of shit. There's having a dark sense of humor and then there's that guy. Make sure you include that in your letter to the plant manager. What kind of rat factory is this? How is that place not shut down after daily accidents? I don't really know if I believe this. A place like this with so many accidents and it's not shut down? How many people would still work there if people's limbs are constantly being chopped off? Why the fuck are there exposed belts on running equipment? This factory sounds absolutely fucked in every way.